So we're on the S1000rr, brand new 2017, courtesy of Park Road BMW. See how we get on. Well, guys, I don't know what to say. This feels weird. So it's a lot different than what I was expecting. This is not what I was expecting for the S1000rr. First off, it's a 2017 BMW S1000rr. It's a standard one, and it's a lot different from what I was expecting, comfort wise. Sitting on it first hand, the reach forward seems a lot more than the other bikes I've ridden, the Hondas, the Suzuki's. It's quite far forward. The bars feel a lot more spaced out than what I was expecting as well. But this is a brand spanking new bike. It's only done, I think, 76 miles. And first off, it's got all the gadgets that you'd expect from a 1000 sports bike. The throttle feels lovely, nice and smooth. That is really nice. That is really nice. I wasn't expecting anything less than BMW's leading sports bike. We've got a lot of gadgets on here. However, we don't have O-lins. That only comes on their HP4 model, which is like 86,000 or 76,000 pounds, and let's face it, the majority of people ain't got those kind of funds. But I think it's more than enough for your everyday person. Like me, I've admired this bike for a very long time. I've always appreciated the S1000. I love the look. I love the off-key headlights. It has always aspired to be an individual in its own right, and I think it accomplished that very well. Although I'm struggling to put it into neutral. There we go. But first off, we've got a lot of gadgets on here. We've got cruise control, we've got rider modes, we've got heated grips, we've got electronic damper suspension, dynamic suspension, we've got ABS Pro, we've got lap timers, we've got auto blippers, we've got quick shifters, and I've had a little quick play at a low rev, and it's very smooth. And let me tell you, for starters, I've got the heat grips on. I can feel those through my gloves, and they feel sublime. My favourite word, sublime. Yeah, these heat grips feel lovely, and as an everyday bike, I don't know how I would get on with it compared to the Honda. The Honda felt like on long distance it would be a bit more comfortable to my gentleman parts and my inner thighs, etc. But this feels like a whole lot of fun all of the time. It feels like it is ready all of the time, and that is what I love most about it. I feel like you just can't go wrong on this. So I'm going to take it around Hyde Park, then we're going to take it onto the A1, See how we get on there. But the lean angle feels lovely. It feels really nice. I've not managed to get it all the way over yet, but hopefully before the end of the ride, we'll really see what this baby can do. And I know already it's not going to be, but as I'm riding it, it feels more comfortable, feels more at home. When I first got on it, it felt a bit foreign, it didn't feel quite right, but now it really is settling in a bit more. I'm getting a bit more used to it, is the best term. It's not quite as slimline as the Honda, the new 5-blade, a bit wider, both around the seat and around the handlebars, but the handlebars sit at the same height as the 222, which is quite nice. So it's not quite as painful as maybe the R1, etc. But the dash as well, as you can see, gives a lot of feedback. Doesn't have a petrol gauge, but you know, it's very rare. They never do. Only the CBR 600 and the Triumph Daytona are fortunate enough to have those. But you know what, when you're having a hell of a lot of fun, is that what you're really worried about? No, it isn't really. But the damper suspension, the automatic suspension, sorry, feels really nice. Electronic, feels really nice. Feels quite a smooth ride. Doesn't seem so bumpy. Considering this is London, London is very, very bumpy. But this doesn't feel too bad, to be fair. It seems to be ironing out. I know we're going at quite low speed at the minute, but I'm sure we will time my every need and iron out those hella bumps that crop up. But we'll take this out and open it up a little bit, see what this baby can do. So I was in race mode. I'm going to put it in sport mode, which is your everyday most likely mode to have. You've got sport, rain and race. However, there is a fourth mode, which is a custom map, so you can sort of play around with it. You can dial up the engine braking, the ABS, as you see fit really. So if you're on the track, you're probably best to stick it in race mode, because I'm sure BMW know what they're talking about. However, if you're feeling a little bit cocky and you want to switch off the ABS 100%, I'm sure you can, because race mode doesn't actually switch it off 100%. It just dials it down dramatically, but it works in tandem with other modes like the ABS Pro. And what ABS Pro is it is like normal ABS, where it will kick in for you at so if you're under heavy braking, it will kick in. But with ABS Pro, it does it based on the ergonomics of lean angle. So if you're, say, on a racetrack and you're at full lean angle and you think, oh shit, I fucked up, then what it does, when you slam on those front brakes, it will be like, you dumbass, don't do that, let me clear this shit up for you. Basically puts on less front, because it knows the front's going to kick out, and then it puts more rear and just helps line you up. It may not save you completely, because let's face it, it's still a machine, and you're the one in control, but it lets you know that, okay, you need a bit more practice before you really go nuts and turn it off completely. But okay, so BMW's S1000rr, I love the paint job. it is going to cost you more for a nice paint job, unless you get the standard black one, which is part of the price. I mean, they've got to paint it somehow. But I just love the look of this bike. I think it looks so mean, it looks aggressive, and it kind of says everything that I want it to say as a sports bike. The handling is nice, not quite as nice as the CBR or the Gixxer around town, personally, but you get used to it. Give it a few miles and you really do get used to it. Brembo brakes work lovely, sublime in fact. I'm so glad that the standard tyres it comes on, which are the Bridgestone Battle Axe, finally stepped up their game, because I had a pair of Bridgestone's 15s or something on my bike as standard, and they are horrible. So alright, Bridgestone, you're not my first choice, purely because of that set of tyre that I had, and it put me off. But these ones do hold up really well, and you would suspect so on a bike of this stature. So yeah, I would feel comfortable to run these tyres through their life course, and then change up to maybe some Pirellis or some Continentals. Depends what you're doing. I mean, I'm more riding the dry only, as I've stated in previous videos, but this I would feel comfortable to ride it in the dry or the wet. As a commuter, depends on how many miles you're doing. I'd say a 50-mile commute, you're just about alright on it. Anything more, just get rid of it and get an XR from BMW. Oh, that pops really nicely. So yeah, BMW, I'm really impressed. And as I've been saying for a little while, my first choice of bike has been the BMW S1000rr for a litre bike. This bike really does hold up well. I went on the 5-blade, as you guys know from my previous video. If you don't know, check it out. Which I thought was an absolutely sublime machine. I got on it straight away and felt right at home, and it didn't let me down at any stage. This took me a little bit longer to get used to, but it's pulled through in the end, and I'm really impressed with it. The BMW has always been my #1 bike, especially in the 1000 range. At one point, I guess we were all hoping they'll bring out a 750, but like BMW rightly said, it doesn't make sense. The cost, as we know, I don't have to be an engineer to know, to build that is going to be exactly the same as this, and it's going to take a lot more input in order to get it built, and they're not going to make much money. And quite frankly, a business is a business. You know, they need to make money, whether it's for our fun or not. But the rider mode's really nice. I prefer it a lot better than the Honda, unfortunately, for Honda, because it's so much easier to use. Everything on here is really gives you a lot of info. You got your clock, you got your miles. This bike's done 34 miles. Then you've got your trip here, which is really easy to use. It just gives you so much info. You've got your how hot the bike is at the top. Don't know if you can see that. Your gear indicator, your miles per hour. Then here you've got your rider mode. So if you just click, it flashes. Click it again, and then you've got the little arrow that points to what one it is. And you know, really easy to use. You've got your heat sensors, which is 3 settings. So you've got 100%, click it again, 50%, or off. You know, as simple as that. It's so straightforward. Here you've got your gear indicator as when to change gear. You know, it flashes nice and bright, doesn't blind you, but it lets you know that it's there. Here you've got cruise control, fantastic addition, which I've noticed. When I first got on sports bikes, I thought, what do you need cruise control for? There's no point, you're going to be hammering it. But you're not going to be hammering it all the time. Sometimes you're going to be on the motorway, you just want to cruise along nicely, without having to keep adjusting the throttle, and it works so easy. On, off, on, off, on, set, click it, it only works over about 15 miles, which is, you know, makes sense. And as soon as you touch the clutch, the brake, it will switch off automatically. The only one it doesn't switch off is when you throttle it. It will just go back to the settings if you come off the throttle again. You've got your quick shifter and auto blipper, works so nicely, so smooth. The faster you're going, the better it is. I love the tail on this bike. I think it is one of the best looking tails out there, to be honest. It's different. It's not like your standard sports bikes or any other bike for that matter. The rear suspension's really nice. The exhaust, I would most definitely get rid of that at some point, although I think it looks nice, especially compared to Honda's and Suzuki's new rear cans. They're horrible. What were they thinking? But they know we're going to change them anyway. They know that, so there's no point complaining about it. This one, you can live with it. I would be more than happy to keep this on my bike if I wasn't planning on doing any mods to it, but I would at some point change it anyway. Little additions, it's just done so tidy. Like, you've got your brake reservoir tucked in nicely. That's a nice addition. You know, this one here is not intrusive of the screen in any way. It's just such a nice setup. So well done, BMW, for bringing out a new predecessor newer model that does everything it needs to do. Thank you. So yeah, I'm going to take this for another blast before I head back and see how we get on. You know what? Admittedly though, I don't feel quite comfortable throwing this around as easy as I would a CBR. Sorry to say that, BM. I don't know if it's because you're new and you don't quite ride the way I like to see, but admittedly the Honda does throw itself around a little bit better than this does. But yeah, what we'll do, we'll take it out onto the open road and see what you have to offer and see if you can redeem yourself. I'm going to kind of eat the grips off because I don't really use them on, and my hand's feeling nice and tasty, which is a great addition. Because admittedly, I am a person who suffers from extremely cold hands. It's such a pain in the backside. It really is a pain in the backside. Because my hands will freeze over. The bloody branch of my hand will attack the grass. And that is a really nice addition, so thank you for having that as standard on your bike, BM. We do appreciate that. So you've got Brembo brakes, which great, they work very well. We didn't expect anything less really, did we? But how does it ride on a day-to-day basis? It probably, admittedly, at this point in time, as a road rider and a starter / intermediate track rider, I would feel more comfortable on the Honda at this point in time. Although the BMW feels a lot more fun. If you're someone who clocks up a lot of miles, then you probably would prefer the Honda, the 5-blade. As we know, the 600rr dying breed, although Yamaha's brought out the new R6, which it looks gorgeous. I think it looks like a great bike, but the reality is it's all about the thousands. Maybe the 750s will make a comeback, we don't know, but the thousands seem to be doing it, and with great reason, because they have these riding modes that you can just dial them down. Power. You don't need all the power all the time, and these thousands are capable of doing that. They're almost just as light as these 600s these days. So what difference does it make? It doesn't make any difference. You can easily get away with 1,000. If you're a newbie and you're jumping on this, you're just fuck off. It's totally a shit. You're not ready for this. I wouldn't be ready for it. It's just way too much, even in rain mode. It doesn't feel as slim as the Honda, so filtering doesn't feel quite as nice. Obviously it's easy on any bike, most bikes, but the Honda just feels so slim, like it feels like cut and fine paper, whereas this one's a little bit fat. But I still think it's so gorgeous. I think it's one of the best looking sports bikes that I've seen. Normally these roads are a bit proper, but it feels alright. Okay, those folks got lovely. Those folks got lovely. Confident. A lot of confidence, very sharp. Given the amount of pressure you apply, it will keep you out of trouble. BMW have always been one of my leading companies for motorcycles. I think they've got every range done to a T. I love their GS. I think if I could run an adventure, the GS would be the bike of my choice. I love their R9T, which is like a racer. I mean, come on. It's like so old school, it's so new, so modern. Everything about it is really nice. And then you've got their sports bike, which is just really nice. This S1000. Although the bike rides really nice at low speeds, what I like about my CBR 600rr is that when you're just cruising, you can sort of, if you push forward against the tank, you can pretty much almost get upright. And this BMW is pretty similar. It gets you quite upright for a bit more added comfort. I mean, it's far from the XR or the S, the R models that BMW do, but it's a good effort, and that's what matters. You gave it a good try.